It's not bragging if you do what you say you're gonna do. So, and you know, like when people say, when you know, bumps and bruises come with the sport of boxing.
I'm telling you, this version of Tank is gonna be dangerous, bro. If you know about boxing, come on, it is Gervonta Davis, bro.
Floyd Mayweather is reportedly stunned by Gervonta Davis's intense training ahead of his upcoming rematch with Lamont Roach. Davis has looked terrifying in camp, unleashing rapid-fire combinations and displaying sharp movement and power that have impressed even his longtime supporters. His focus suggests he's entering this fight with serious intent to dominate. Meanwhile, Lamont Roach is also grinding hard in training, pushing his limits to improve strength and technique. With both fighters showing relentless dedication and hunger, fans can expect an explosive, high-stakes clash when they finally meet again in the ring. This rematch is set to deliver fireworks. Lamont Roach is deep in training camp, preparing for one of the biggest rematches of 2025 against Gervonta "Tank" Davis, one of boxing's biggest stars. Many observers believe Davis's poor showing in their first fight wasn't solely due to Roach's performance, but also stemmed from Tank's personal struggles at the time. Davis openly admitted he was battling mentally and physically, even considering therapy and stepping away from the sport altogether. Despite those challenges, he still chose to face Roach. Now, with a clearer mind and renewed focus, this rematch is Tank's opportunity to prove that his previous performance didn't reflect his true ability when he's healthy, focused, and at peak condition.
Lamont Roach in training camp, ready for one of the biggest rematches in 2025 against Gervonta "Tank" Davis. One of the biggest faces of boxing. What a man.
First fight exposed cracks in Tank Davis's armor, with Lamont Roach capitalizing on weaknesses in his defense and stamina. Now, the rematch is crucial. It will reveal whether Tank simply had an off night or if his power and sharpness are truly fading. With critics questioning his strength and readiness, the pressure is on for Tank to prove himself, reclaim his dominance, and silence all doubts about his future in boxing.
He wants to do therapy. He wants to do real estate. They want to say he wasn't all in because him and Roach are friends. He's going to be focused for the second fight. A lot of excuses. They want to say it's because of the braids, you know, the oil getting in his eye. Whatever. This is what really happened. And I just now came to this conclusion because I've been making some other videos for Patreon, but Lamont Roach posted a video recently on...
In their first fight, Lamont Roach stayed incredibly focused. He anticipated Tank Davis's moves, knew exactly when to strike and when to hold back. His timing was perfect. He countered Tank effectively and even rocked him at least twice. Floyd Mayweather, who had expressed doubts about the legitimacy of Tank's power, has recently been surprised by new training footage. The clips showed Tank unleashing explosive combinations with intense focus and energy, suggesting a fighter more dangerous than many expected. These powerful displays have forced Mayweather to reconsider his stance and acknowledge Tank's growth, determination, and readiness to return.
I don't know if Lamont Roach exposed weaknesses of Tank Davis. It very much reminds me of Rolly Romero versus Ryan Garcia. What Roach did, Rolly was doing the same thing. He ended up implementing it better against Ryan Garcia. Tank was having huge issues, and that's the black two sugars. Watch me call that fight. I started laughing. I couldn't believe it because all he was patient with good power. All Roach was patient. He stayed focused. That's why him drinking and partying and shit's messing with me, because he beat him here. He stayed so damn focused. And he knew when Tank was going to punch. He knew when not to punch. And when he countered Tank, he rocked Tank. Tank got rocked at least twice now.
The relationship between Floyd Mayweather and Tank Davis has been tense for years, strained by disagreements over career decisions and training approaches. Floyd initially voiced concerns about Tank accepting a rematch with Lamont Roach, viewing it as a risky choice. However, after witnessing Tank's intense preparation, Mayweather seems genuinely surprised by his renewed focus and drive. Davis understands the high stakes, This fight is critical for preserving his legacy. Another loss would leave no excuses, making this rematch a defining moment in his career.
When is Gervonta Davis going to go somewhere in the powerful power? Illinois deserve to be in the powerful power? Absolutely. Do Terrence Crawford deserve to be in the powerful power? Absolutely. But what about Gervonta Davis? He deserves to be somewhere also in the powerful power.
Why don't they give him that credit?
Because he was affiliated with me.
Many experts believe the hype around Lamont Roach's performance in the first fight is slightly exaggerated. Tank Davis went down not from a knockout punch, but because grease got into his eyes, impairing his vision, a key detail that changes a narrative. Roach's win, while significant, was as dominant as some suggest. Now, Tank is training with renewed fire, determined to return stronger and more dangerous than ever. He's warning the boxing world that this revamped version of himself is not to be underestimated. A fierce competitor ready to make a powerful...
Floyd left Bob Arum. It's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship. It's up and down and up and down. And I'm not going to elaborate to everything that I know, but it's a very toxic relationship. And that's why when I tweet stuff, I don't tweet often, but when I tweet, I may fire off 50 tweets in the day. And that's why when I tweeted certain things about the relationship, Tank retweeted it because he knows. Like, I'm not just going to say what it is. It's a very toxic relationship. It's back and forth. And I think it will serve him best to go and be his own boss.
Remarkably, even critics and longtime skeptics of Tank Davis are predicting a clear victory for him in the rematch. The consensus is that Tank is more focused and motivated than ever, knowing this fight is crucial to his legacy. Unlike in the past, he's not distracted by other opponents or side narratives. His full attention is on Roach. Many believe this sharp focus will be the key to Tank reclaiming his dominance.
People keep saying like Lamont dang near like beat Tank like clean, like basically like we seen it, like yeah, he did Tank that one, but like Tank was limping out the ring. Bro, he didn't even get over on Tank for real. Y'all only saying that because Tank took the knee. And when Tank took the knee, it wasn't how like Ryan Garcia was when he took the knee once Tank went to his body. It was like, dang, like, let me take a knee and get right back up. Can you do that in boxing? No. But y'all can't say that basically that, oh yeah, he won because of the knee. That shows that people just want to see Tank lose, bruh. Because y'all betting y'all money on basically Tank losing because of that knee. Yes, it was a good fight. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. Lamont was defending himself like he's skilled. But bruh, he ain't walk all over Tank. Tank, bruh, if y'all go back and watch the highlights, I just watched the highlights last night. Them last couple of rounds, bruh, Lamont was balled up. Tank was literally, he was trying, like you could tell Tank was like, dang, I waited too long. So he was trying to throw some stuff like to make sure he get that one blow, but it didn't work. So that's why they're doing that rematch so they can start over from scratch, round 1 to round 12. We're gonna start over clean and let's see what's going on now. Now y'all wanna be saying, oh no, man, I ain't gonna lie. At the end of the day, the first fight is what matters. No, it don't. Tank, look, he willing enough to say, hey bro, let's do a rematch. Now, if he ain't doing a rematch, it's like, oh yeah, something going on. Nah, hush, hush. Hey, Calvin, step to the side. Let me get somebody else right now. I'm gonna be hush. Let me get back in the gym and put my hat on, and we go at it again. I'm not gonna lie. I'm telling you, this version of Tank is gonna be dangerous, bro. If you know about boxing, come on, it is Gervonta Davis, bro. Dude is a beast. You think he finna walk around with that on his resume that he almost got cooked by Lamont Roach? Bruh, if he doing a rematch, he doing it for a reason. He's about to make an example out of him. I'm sorry to tell y'all. And Lamont, you're skilled, but the fact that you keep on trying to just pull that up, like that one knee. I beat him because of that one knee. You know, I don't care if he had grease in his eye or not. I whooped him because of that. Bruh, that's how you know he don't got confidence that he's a better fighter than Tank. The fact that he's trying to, because you know that chance comes once in a lifetime. That's why he's so big on trying to, go back and play the tape.
After controversial referee decisions in the first fight, fans and analysts are urging that the rematch be handled by a truly impartial official. The original referee, Steve Willis, was accused of showing bias in favor of Tank Davis, casting doubt on the integrity of the result. In response, Roach's team has formally requested that Willis not be assigned to the rematch. The goal is clear: ensure fair, unbiased officiating so the fight is determined purely by skill and performance.
Breaking news from Mike Coppinger, Tank vs. Roach rematch has been booked for August 16th, I want to say. This fight is going to take place in Las Vegas, so no, Tank will not be fighting Jake Paul. He will not be looking at any further opponents. He's going to be fighting Lamont Roach once more. What does this mean for Tank? What does this mean for Roach? Not much. It means a rematch. Tank lost the first fight. He got to get it back, I guess. What are my predictions for this fight? I'm going to go domination by Gervonta Davis. I'm not a big Tank fan, but I don't like Roach whatsoever as a boxer. It's going to take a little bit more from Roach for me to just think that he's on the level of Tank. Like I always say, we have 25 plus fights with Lamont Roach. He's never looked like a great fighter. I don't think this fight alone makes him a great fighter. I don't think he's going to carry this momentum on into the rematch. I'm going to go Gervonta Davis, brutal, typical knockout fashion. I'm expecting Roach to vacate his 130 title, stop holding up that division. I'm expecting him to make a legit campaign at 135 after being knocked out. You guys let me know, who do y'all got in the rematch? Did you even want to see this rematch? You guys let me know.
After the first fight, Tank Davis gave some unexpected explanations for his underwhelming performance, including blaming his hairdresser for grease getting in his eyes. Many fans found this excuse strange and viewed it as an attempt to downplay Lamont Roach's efforts instead of giving him due credit. These justifications sparked skepticism among fans, raising doubt about Tank's mindset and whether he was truly focused and mentally prepared for challenges of the upcoming rematch.
You know, obviously the part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, you know what I'm saying? That was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you can see me like, nigga, what you talking about? So,
but you say you don't think he well enough.
Yeah, whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye, spit fucking around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on, ref. Can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right. No. Pops is a no?
Hell no.
Fuck that. No.
Yeah.
You know how many
Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben out of that fight.
But look how many times he fucked the fight up though. Him going to the corner to get assistance, like, who knows? Not saying that they did any cheating shit or nothing like that. But like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that. That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight's off.
Recent training footage shows Gervonta Davis working hard in the gym, displaying impressive precision and fluid movement. The first fight highlighted Tank's reputation for selecting opponents who fit his style and strengths, a strategy often criticized in boxing. For years, Davis faced accusations of avoiding tougher challenges. Lamont Roach disrupted that pattern by arriving prepared, disciplined, and tactically sharp. Roach's approach exposed Tank's vulnerabilities, proving that his usual game plan might fall short against an opponent who refuses to back down or be outmatched.
We gotta talk about it. So, Tank officially came out and says that he wants to put this rematch as early as May. Now, if that were to happen, Lamont Roach gets a second time to prove himself. Now, in my personal opinion, his stock has already risen. He is already known, but the fact that he went toe-to-toe with Tank on the decision that ended in a draw, whether he loses this second fight or not won't even matter, because he's directly in line to go against Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevens, etc., Devin Haney's, etc. I can see him moving up and going against Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or somebody like that. So many people to fight. Lamont Roach has definitely proven himself. But let's talk about something else. and that is the hairstylist situation. My humble opinion, I believe she should have been quiet. As a hairstylist, there was nothing for you to say. There was nothing for you to say. No fan in boxing is going to look at them like, I don't want to braid my hair. No one would say that. But she hurt herself. She came out and publicly made multiple claims. Got all these receipts that no one needed, no one asked for, saying, oh, this had no grease or oil in it. No one cares. No one cares. I don't even believe it. Sometimes it's best to remain quiet. But you guys let me know in the comments. Should she have remained quiet, or should she have did what she did, which is spoke up? You let me know.
Prominent boxing figure Gary Russell Jr. disagrees with the idea that Roach clearly won the first fight. He argues that while Roach matched Tank Davis, he didn't decisively outperform him to earn a clear victory. To dethrone a champion like Davis, an opponent must show clear dominance throughout the fight, something Roach didn't quite achieve.
That fight with Tank and Lamont Roach shows y'all how protected Tank has been for the past several years. And the people saying, oh, Tank know Lamont and he been respected Lamont because they fought in the amateurs, man, he was cherry picking Lamont, and really thought he was going to get that win. But Lamont wasn't coming to play around. He stood his ground and fought back. And to be honest, he won the fight. The rematch is going to be a knockout.
Jeff Mayweather, longtime ally and trainer of Gervonta Davis, shared his honest view on the first fight. He observed that Lamont Roach was a more active fighter, landing and throwing more punches than Tank. Jeff admitted surprise at Davis's struggles, acknowledging Tank didn't perform to his usual level. Based on this analysis, Jeff believed Roach's effort could have been enough to earn a deserved win, adding complexity and debate to the fight's final outcome.
He's 100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no, sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I can see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right? But I had him winning. Larry Hazard, who was the ref, who was calling it on the air, the Showtime scores, not the show, the Amazon Prime scores, had Gervonta Davis winning, I think, 115, 113.
Popular boxing commentator and enthusiast Sauce Walker has been vocal about the first fight, firmly believing that Lamont Roach outboxed Gervonta Davis. According to Walker, Roach's strategic approach and flawless execution clearly gave him the upper hand, demonstrating a level of control and skill that Tank couldn't match. Walker argues that anyone knowledgeable about boxing can see that Davis was outperformed regardless of the judge's decision. He stresses the importance of looking beyond official scores to truly understand the fight. Now, with the rematch approaching, all doubts and debates will be resolved in the ring. Whether it was a referee's error, Roach's dominance, or simply Roach being the better fighter, every question will finally receive a definitive answer where it truly counts.
It's the worst decision I think I might have ever seen. I don't know how that's
not a knockdown. But anyway, thoughts on the overall fight first, Jeff?
I think that it was a good fight on both sides, and I do think that Roach actually won the fight. I thought he outworked Tank. Thought that he threw more punches than Tank. It seemed like Tank was fighting like he always do. It just seemed like he was just waiting for him to figure out whoever was in front of him like he always do, and then go to work. But this time when he went to work, the guy went to work back. So, I mean, he had somebody that was firing back at him the same way.
Yeah. I think the commentators and most of us at home thought, kind of the same thing. You thought Roach would bank some of those early rounds to prepare for the onslaught later. And when it didn't really happen, it was pretty even. We said, well, this is going to be a one-sided fight. But yeah, it never happened. And Roach, through the latter half of the fight, actually seemed to do better than the first half.
I thought he did good pretty much all the way through the fight. I mean, there was a few rounds where he didn't do that well, but I mean, I thought he won the fight clearly. I mean, I didn't see Gervonta really the Gervonta that I know. I mean, I'm a big Gervonta fan, but I didn't see none of the Gervonta that I'm used to seeing.
Why do you think that is? Roach was pretty lately, valued coming into the fight, moving up a weight class. It's not somebody that they expected to give him a huge challenge. What do you think it was that Roach presented to Tank that made it so difficult for him?
The one thing is that he fought at the right distance, and he let his hands go. And that's the most important part. Is that's how you win a fight, by letting your hands go. I mean, Gervonta was sitting back, waiting like he normally does, and then all of a sudden he finishes him.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more updates, insights, and coverage from the boxing world.